Hi, everybody. I wasn't recording. What a day. What a day. I've finished work and now I'm ready to get started with my video. I am so excited about this. I had told you in my last video that I was going to start out with a new series of things to do, series of projects to do. One was going to be quilting, one was going to be punch rug, one was going to be cross stitching, one was going to be, what was the other one? Wool applique. But the theme around it is to celebrate America, 2026, 250 years. I was just thinking before I started this video when we had the 200th birthday. Now that's okay, y'all. All right, now I know that was 50 years ago. 1976. That's when Rocky came out. But anyway, my husband and I had just gotten married, and it was a great celebration. It was a lot of fun. But this one, 250 years, this is what's so cool about this one is that my daughter lives in Philly, and just going up there, I go up there twice a year, and you can already feel the vibes. You can already feel the vibes and things that are getting ready to happen. And it's really exciting. So I got to thinking, you know what? There might be a lot of people that don't have a lot of decorations for 4th of July. I know I don't. I have a couple of barn quilts. I have a wall hanging, and I have a wreath. And that's it. That's all I've got. And I thought that this year would be kind of fun to do. So my first project that I'm going to be working on is a quilt hanging, a wall hanging made out of log cabin quilt blocks. So why am I choosing that? Well, before I tell you that, I got to tell you a story. If you're new here, then this will be a new story for you. If you're not, then I'm kind of repeating myself. My name is Marilyn, and I own a little e-commerce store called Goldenrod Primitives, and I love all different types of quilting and all different types of handiwork, and I have lots of things that I do. I'm one of these, maybe I'm one of these people that I know a lot of things. I'm not very good at one thing. I can't remember what the saying is, but I guess I guess some people think, you should be good at one thing. Well, not me. I have a plethora of things that I have. You can look around here. You can see all the different things that I like to do. I've got, embroidery stuff over there. I've got yarn over there. I've got all different kinds of things. So this is going to be a log cabin quilt. And the story I wanted to tell you was back when I started quilting about 10 years ago, I had to learn online because I didn't have time to go off and go to, quilt lessons and quilt classes and things like that. I did join a quilt guild, and I was really, really excited about it, but I was brand new to quilting, didn't even know the verbiage, didn't know what a fat quarter was, didn't know what a stitch in the ditch, didn't know any of that stuff. So I traipsed off to these quilt guild meetings, and I was like, oh my God, I'm intimidated because the projects they showed beautiful, absolutely beautiful projects, but I thought I'll never be able to do that. Even though I knew how to sew, and my grandmother had taught me beautifully how to sew, I didn't know anything about quilting, and I was really, really intimidated. And a lot of quilters, the seasoned quilters, they kind of forgot that they were once newbies, like I was. So that's what I want to do. I want to be able to show how to do this log cabin quilt block, what to do with it, how to put it together. And I want to treat it as if I am teaching you how to quilt for the very first time, that you don't know anything. Now, I'm a teacher by trade. I'm a math teacher by trade. And that's even harder because kids, adults, because I've taught adult students as well, they don't like math. It's very hard for them. They don't see it. And to be honest with you, I was like that in high school. I was not a math person. And I don't know why all of a sudden I turned out to be a math teacher. Have no idea. I started out as a science teacher. But then I turned into a math teacher, and I think it was because they needed math teachers so bad. And one of the things that I've learned is if you don't know how to do it, the best way to learn something is to teach it. That is the very first, that's what I learned when I was in school, when I was in college. The best way to learn something is to actually teach it. So I'm going to teach the log cabin. Now, I know how to do the log cabin. I love the log cabin. It is my most favorite quilt block. And the thing about it is that when you go to a lot of quilt guild meetings, or you go and see a lot of things on the walls at quilt shows and things, you don't see a lot of log cabins. Now you do, but you may not know it's a log cabin. If you know the how the log cabin is and what it looks like, then you can start to see it. But out of that one quilt block, you can turn it so many different ways, and you can have a different type of quilt every time. So that's what we're going to do. As a new quilter, if you don't know how to quilt at all, this is one of the best ones to learn, because all it is strips of fabric. We are going to do a little bit of cutting so that you can know how to do the rotary cutter. I'm going to use some of the language that I did not know what it was. So those of you who are seasoned quilters, welcome. I'm hoping that you will give me a little bit of faith and a little bit of, leeway, because I may not teach it the way that you learned how to do it, but I'm teaching it the way that I think that a brand new person would want to do this. So let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to draw out a pattern. Now, I don't want to scare you. You're not going to use your pattern. I just want to show you how to draw it out. And the reason I want to show you is because when you start designing a project, if you put it on paper, then you know how to do it. Then you can see it, you're touching it, you're seeing it, it's going into your brain two different ways. You're going to draw it, you're going to see it, and you're going to put it on paper, okay? And when you do that, you have an idea of exactly what's up and where pieces go, okay? So let's get started. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start drawing this out, and I want to let you know that you are going to get a downloadable pattern that is going to be ready to go, okay? But go. So I'm going to start to draw this out. Now, I want you to know that when I'm drawing this out for you, like I said, so that you can see it, but you're going to get a completed pattern ready to go with all the correct measurements and everything. But I thought you would want to see an idea of what I do whenever I start planning a project. All right, so I hope my mic is working. I think it is. All right, so here we go. So the first thing we got to do is we have to make a center. Now I'm going to do all of these 1-inch squares. Now I will say that I'm using this little old ruler here that I don't know where I got it, but I use it because if you notice, I got a lot of black on the sides and stuff. I don't use this for fabric. I use this for barn quilts, and I use it for when I'm drawing out patterns and stuff. So if you're going to do this, make sure that you have a ruler. That's not going to matter if you start to mess it up with a Sharpie pen. Okay, so what we're going to do first is make a 1-inch square. So as I go along, those of you who are math people, you're going to notice that my 1 inches are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And the reason is because I'm using this Sharpie pen, and it's going to increase the sizes, okay? But again, you are going to receive a correct pattern. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to draw a 1-inch square. When you're doing a log cabin, the very center is the focal point. So your focal point needs to be a color that is going to be, it's going to separate the light from the dark. So on ours, it's going to be the red. It's going to be red. Now we're using 3 different colors. We're using red, white, and blue. Now, when you see the fabric that we're going to be using, or at least I'm going to be using for this project, it's called Riley Blake. It's a jelly roll, and it has all different patterns in it. And I'm going to show you that in a second. But we're going to separate everything. We're going to have the border, and we're going to have the center as red. So let's go ahead and we're going to separate that in just a minute. But I'm going to put a C here for center. Now, when you, like I said, when you get your actual pattern, it's going to have that. But I wanted to show you how to actually go in and draw a pattern. So now we're going to come over here and we're going to draw another square. We're making the first round. So you got a center, and then you're going to have 3 rounds on this particular pattern. There are all different sizes of the log cabin, but this one we're going to have 3 rounds, okay? Because I want it to be 20 inches. When we get finished, I want it to be 20 inches across to be able to put it on a hanger that I've got. All right. So now that's your first one. Then you're going to come over here and you're going to, and if you want to draw with me, I'd love for you to draw with me. But again, it's already starting to get bigger because of this big old pen I'm using. But when I tried to do it with a pencil a while ago, you couldn't see it. So I said, well, I'll use a Sharpie and explain that the measurements are not going to be totally correct. All right. The sizes, it's not going to be to scale. All right. So this is going to be your second one. Now we're going to do number 3, and we're going to come up here. Now notice we're going counterclockwise. So we're going to come up here and we're going to draw a 3rd rectangle. This time we're doing a rectangle. We started with a square, which really is a rectangle, but now we're going to do a rectangle here, okay? And we're going to put a 3 there. Again, you're going counterclockwise. So as you're sewing this, you're going to be going counterclockwise. Then we're going to come over here and we're going to do number 4. And they're all going to be, at least for this, they're going to be 1-inch rectangles. Now, I will tell you this, that when you get it, you're going to notice that the rectangles are going to be they're going to be, when we cut, they're going to be 2-inch strips, because when we sew, it's going to end up being 1.5. And we want it to be 1.5 so that it's going to fit the 20 inches that I want for the hanger. All right. So this is going to make a lot more sense as we go. Now, remember, if you're a seasoned quilter, you know what we're doing. So you can just go on and start, making your log cabin if you want to. But I'm pretending that I am working with a person who has never quilted before and wants to learn. Okay. Actually, my grandson's fiance wants to learn. So this will be a good video for her to watch. All right. So now, I made a mistake. No, I didn't either. Okay, so now we're going to do number 5. We're going counterclockwise again. And there's your 5. Okay, then we're going to go over here. We're going to do number 6. Yeah. I can't really see really well because of the fact that my measurements are way off, because the Sharpie pen is really messing me up. But in order for you to be able to see it, I had to do this. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That was the first round. Now we're going to do 5, 6, 7, and 8. That'll be the second round. Okay. Okay, that's going to be 7. I love my clock. When my mother was alive, and those of you who have been following me, you know she just passed away in November. But when she first started living with me, when we moved her in, she would wake up in the middle of the night and she would say, "There's music. Y'all need to quit partying." And I said, "Mom, we go to bed about the same time you do. We don't party." Well, there's music out all night long. She was hearing my clock. So I had to bring my clock out to my office. All right, so that's the second round. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now we're going to do the fourth round. I mean, the third round. Sorry about that. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this tool. But again, I use it for my barn quilts. That's what we're going to do next. We're going to do a barn quilt. Kind of give you a foreshadowing of what the next project is. I want to do the barn quilt because it's going to take longer. 5, 6, 7, 8. It's going to take longer to do that one because you got to wait in between for the paints to dry and all that kind of stuff. So that's 9. Then we want to come up here and we want to do 10. You know, another thing I wanted to say about this is that as we age, and notice you can see that I'm not a spring chicken, that we really have to keep our brains to working. Mom had dementia, and it scares me that, you know, they don't say, I don't know if it's hereditary or not, but, you know, there's so much controversy and stuff going on about what causes it and all that kind of stuff. But I will say this, my daughter and I and my husband, we have all decided that we're going to start really taking care of ourselves. So notice I didn't ever put it up here. I got my coffee cup here. You know what's in it? I'm not going to show it to you because it's almost done and it's kind of yucky right now, but mushroom coffee. It is one of the best things that you can do for brain health. Now, I'm not trying to sell you any mushroom coffee or anything like that, because when my daughter first told me about mushroom coffee, I said, you are out of your mind. I am not going to do that. But I have to tell you, I'm hooked. I am hooked. I want so badly to keep my brain working. And those of you who are older, like me, I may have some younger ones in here, 9, 10, 11, 12. But we have to keep learning. We have to have lifelong learning. And this is one of those, learning how to quilt, because you're using your brain, because you're using math, you're using your hands, you're using your thoughts. We're going to be moving things around. You're going to be using a lot of different things. And so that's what we want to do. We want to keep all of that in our brains. Okay, so there you go. So now I've done that. Okay. Look at my roof. My husband built this room for me, and I love it. It's just that he says it's a barn. We don't have to do the roof. I said, okay, well, I want a roof, but a ceiling, a nice ceiling. Well, guess what? I didn't get it. Anyway, okay, so let me get the fabric now. Maddie's in the way. All right. So now I will have a link down below for this. I just want to let you know that I am an Amazon affiliate, and I did buy this on Amazon. And one of the reasons that I did buy it on Amazon is because now I am a proponent of buying from quilt shops and from small stores. I just think that we should all use them. But I have to be honest with you, there's not many. And the closest quilt shop from me is 45 minutes away. Now, there is one in town that just opened up, and she does have quite a bit, but I went over there the other day and I didn't see any jelly rolls that I really liked. So, and I wanted this one because we are doing Americana. And so I just said, well, I'll go ahead and buy it off of Amazon. But what I did do is I went on Amazon and I found out that it was a small shop, and I wanted to use the small shop. So the link that you're getting down below is from the shop that I purchased this from. Now, I do want to tell you also that you do not have to use Riley Blake. You do not have to use a jelly roll. You can actually go in and just go to your nearest box store like Hobby Lobby or Walmart. Of course, Joann's is no longer here, so we can't use Joann's, and oh my gosh, that's a mess. But you could get fabric. Walmart has some nice fabric. You could use some fabric. And if this is your first quilting journey, don't go out and spend a lot of money. Now, I will say that Riley Blake's Jelly Roll was, it was pretty high, but it wasn't the most expensive. But guess what? It has so many different things on here that all of these are not going to be just used for this, but the other projects that I've got planned, like the wool applique, we're going to use some of this for the binding and for the border on the wool applique. We're going to use some of this for the cross stitching. So it's not going to be lost. We're going to use it all. So just remember that if you do decide to buy this and you spend the money, just remember that if you stick with me and do the whole series, you'll be using this. Okay. So what I did was I should have waited and videoed when I opened this up, but I was a little excited and I wanted to see what all colors were in there because I was kind of planning my video and I wanted to make sure that I had everything right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what we've got. We've got these different kinds of reds. Okay, so we've got two of these that are the same. Okay, and we've got two of these that are the same, and then we've got two of these that are the same. Now, what I'm doing with is I'm putting my reds aside. I do not want to use my reds for anything else because I've decided that I want to use the reds for the center, the focal point of the log cabin, and I also want to use it for the binding. Okay, for the border, I want to use that. So I'm going to set the reds aside, but these are what the reds that you will get in this particular Jelly Roll. And like I said, you can purchase any that you want to. The one thing that you want to make sure is if you do go to and you can't find a Jelly Roll or you want to just cut your fabric yourself, is you want light colors that kind of blend and you want dark colors that kind of blend, and then you need a focal point. Okay, so traditionally the log cabin, the focal point is red for the hearth, meaning that is the heart of the home. Okay, so that's why I'm choosing the red. Okay, now for the middle. Now the lighter colors, now this one here could be used for both. It could be used for the blue and the white, or the red. Well, not the red, it's not, it doesn't have enough red in it, but I could use this for blue or white. But I'm going to choose, I haven't decided yet. We have to wait and see actually how we're going to do this. But I wanted to show you the different lighter colors. So you've got this one here. You've got this one here. This one here. Now some of these are going to be repeats, but I didn't separate them right. So you got the little Uncle Sam hat. Then you got the stars. And the flags. The fireworks. And these are all the lighter colors. Now, when we start sewing them, you'll see, and I'm going to show you some pictures. I'm probably going to do that next time. I'll show you some pictures, and I want to introduce the video with showing you some pictures and also some books that are really good for first-time quilters or the ones that I get in my stash. Then you've got all of the blues. Now, I'm going to say that this is a blue. I may not use this one, but I'm not sure yet. We're going to see how it works. We'll lay it out and see. We'll do that next week. Then you've got the lighter blues. Right here. Fireworks. Notice that they're all the same type of pattern, but they have a different background. Got this one that says United States of America. That's really cool. We'll definitely use that one. I'm very patriotic. I love America. There. I've lived a lot. I lived a lot in a lot of different places. I loved everywhere that I lived. I lived in Canada. I lived in Puerto Rico. I lived in Mexico. But I always loved coming back home. Yo puedo hablar un poquito de español, not much. And let's see. And you got this one. I think this is a repeat. And then you got this one. Okay, so now that's what we've got. Now that's what you'll get if you buy the Jelly Roll from Riley Blake. If you don't buy the Jelly Roll from Riley Blake, now again, you can buy a Jelly Roll from any of the designers. There are a lot of designers. I like about Riley Blake. I love a lot of her stuff, so I tend to go with her. I love Moda. And when I first started quilting, I didn't know anything about fabric or anything. I mean, no, I take that back. I knew about fabric. I just didn't know quilting fabric. I still don't know authors. Except for Jennifer Shiverini. She's my go-to girl. I love her books. I don't know quilters. I don't know fabrics. I don't know fabric companies. I know a few, but the ones that I kind of go towards. But don't let that stop you from doing this. Again, like I said, don't be intimidated by anybody that wants to tell you, oh, you shouldn't do this, or oh, you went off your it's not a quarter of an inch, it's more of an eighth of an inch, or it's more of a half of an inch, or whatever. Just don't let people intimidate you. I want you to learn how to do this because, number one, it's a new skill. Number two, you're learning, keeping your brain going. And number three, just to say you can do it. Okay, that's what I want. All right, I think that's it. Next time we're going to be sewing. Now, if you want, you'll have the link down there so you can go ahead and buy some fabric, and then you can get your fabric. You're going to need, obviously, some thread. I'm not going to put any links of any of that because you can go down to your local Walmart and get some nice threads. Michaels carries thread now. They're picking up a lot of Joann's things now, so that's good. Our Michaels isn't doing that yet. They picked up a lot of their yarn, but they haven't done anything else. So I'm waiting to see. I'm hoping that they're going to pick up some more fabric. But another thing that I want is to make sure that go to some of your local quilt shops. They're a little bit more expensive, but hey, you know what? They're in business. It's their livelihood. They love it. And I think if you you will learn to appreciate the finer things, but that does not mean that you have to do it with the most expensive stuff to get started. Okay. I know I'm kind of babbling a little bit, but I just want to make sure that you understand that you do not have to have a lot of money to get started in quilting. Okay. So just go ahead and get your fabric if you want to do this with me. Now, you're probably not going to want to do it with me while I'm actually videotaping because obviously I only want to do it in a 30-minute schedule. So I probably won't go much over that. So I'll show you how to do things and then you'll have the video and then you can go ahead and do the block. What I'm going to do is my next video, I was going to show you how to put together the first quilt block. Now you need 4. So, and it doesn't take very long at all. Now, if you're brand new to it, it will take you a little bit longer, but that's okay. If you make a mistake, that's okay. I tell my students all the time, learning is making mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. Okay, so don't worry about that. All right, if you have any questions, put it in the chat box. I feel like I'm talking to my students right now. Put it in the comment box. Take a look at the show notes. Take a look at my website if you want to. That's where you're going to pull down the downloadable document for this. I've got another one in there from last week about organization. If you want to pull that one as well, you can. Don't forget that when you do that, I'll ask you for your email address so that I can keep you updated on different things. And I think that's about it. All right, everybody, get you some mushroom coffee next time. It's really good. Well, let's say this. It's good when you put it together with a latte. So you can have some caramel in it. Sugar-free caramel. And it's fantastic. All right, everybody. I got to go. I'll talk to you later and see you next week. Okay, bye-bye.